the situation as far as the pollution in Delhi is concerned is quite grim. But now moving on to our next story, which is a recent report which highlights a growing trend among Indian students favoring Europe for higher education, with a dramatic 63% decline in those choosing the US between 2023 and 2025. This shift reflects change in global study preferences, driven by factors like affordable tuition, diverse programs, and welcoming visa policies in European countries. The report underscores Europe's rising appeal as a hub for quality education, drawing students away from traditional destinations like the US. Once the top destination, the US has seen its share fall from 54% in 2023 to 20% in fall 2025. Rising tuition costs, tighter immigration pathways, and policy unpredictability are driving students to reconsider. The report cites H-1B fee hikes and post-study visa reviews as key deterrents. I have a former diplomat with me, Ambassador K.B. Fabian. Ambassador Fabian, now this growing trend has completely changed and apparently Europe is being preferred over the US. Your comments, sir?
That is a wise choice by the young people because President Trump has more than 3 years to go and he has proved himself to be very unreliable. And it is good that our youngsters look at other options. And Europe, Germany, and France, and other countries, Belgium, even Italy, these are all Spain, these are all good options.
Right, Mr. Fabian. And now, of course, we do see I was going to ask you now, what do you see going forward in the current trend? Will US be preferred in the future? What do you think for education?
In a post-Trump era, it might, the preference for US might come back.
Right, Mr. Fabian. And of course, now, as you're saying that Trump's administration, but Mr. Fabian, previously we were sharing with our viewers that now the fee that was supposed to be paid by students who are already in the US will not have to be paid anymore. Will that also have an impact?
Fact. But I think the general most important thing to worry about is the unreliability of Trump.
All right, Mr. Fabian. So we were telling our viewers that a recent report has highlighted a growing trend among Indian students who are now favoring Europe for higher education. Remember, viewers, previously US was the top choice for education being pursued abroad, but now that has completely changed. And it's a shocking, dramatic 63% decline, of course, in those choosing the US between 2023 and 2025, viewers. Now, this shift, of course, reflects the change in global study preferences, which is, of course, and now, viewers, we are also telling you why this change has happened. What are the factors that are contributing to it? The factors are study preferences, and of course, study preferences are dominated by factors like affordable tuition, diverse programs, and of course welcoming visa policies in European countries. Now coming back to you, Ambassador Fabian, I want to ask you a question about which are the other countries you think which are good to go to be educated other than Europe and US? Ambassador Fabian, can you hear me? All right, viewers, so while we reconnect with him. All right, so now we have Ambassador Yogesh Gupta with me. Ambassador Gupta, we're discussing the fact that now US is not being preferred as the first country when it comes to students moving abroad for education. And now the latest is that they're favoring Europe for higher education over the US. Your comments?
So I think this is something that should have been anticipated or expected after a set of, hostile measures were taken by the Trump administration, where they are saying that they don't want the number of students from a country to exceed by a certain percentage, and they are trying to reduce the period that, these students can stay on after completing their studies, and also the job opportunities which were available to them under various categories of visas. You see, a student who goes to the US, he spends 2-3 crore rupees, on his education, and his expectation is that after completing his basic degree, he would be able to earn some experience of working in the US industry for 1 or 2 or 3 years, and then also hopefully become a job if possible, in some companies. Now the US under President Trump is closing those opportunities, and it wants everything to be preserved, or everything to be retained mostly for the local students. So in that case, I think it is better that our students look for opportunities in other countries like UK or Germany or Japan, France and so on, or Russia, where the political environment is much more friendlier, and also I think many foreign universities are opening their campuses in India. Many British universities are now opening, Australian universities are opening. So we should, our students should explore the possibility of studying in those campuses, because there the quality of education may be better than elsewhere, and expenses must be much lower. Ultimately, we have to find our own solutions to these issues. We can't depend on US or any other country for long.
Ambassador Gupta, now I want to ask you, just to give our viewers a better understanding, how do you think the Trump administration has contributed to it?
So I think President Trump has a very narrow point of view, and he is not happy. He thinks that the Indian students are robbing the opportunities which should be given to the American students, which may not be necessarily true, because our students go to these universities, only after qualifying for some very difficult exams. So only the top players, the better quality of students are going to the US, and they are paying through their, they are paying so much for these courses. So, the kind of attitude that President Trump has displayed towards, foreign students, particularly Indian students, H-1B visa and so on, I mean, this is bordering close to hostile. That is very unfortunate.
But Ambassador Gupta, now we are seeing that, students are of course preferring Europe, but living standards are also quite expensive in Europe as well. Why do you think they're preferring Europe over other countries after the US?
I frankly think that Europe they may be preferring Europe because it may still be allowing some opportunities, for them to work for a few years after their courses, to earn some local experience, and also explore opportunities for jobs in these countries. I mean, for instance, countries like Germany are encouraging Indian skilled people to come, and also Canada and Japan and so on. So I guess this is something that that our students will take into account.
Right, Ambassador Gupta. Now, I also have Professor Madhav Nalapat, who's the editorial director, Sunday Guardian, joining me. Now, Professor Nalapat, I want to ask you, Indians are preferring Europe over the US when it comes to their education. Your comments?
The fact is that President Trump has made the US almost a closed shop with his the various measures restricting immigration from certain countries. Frankly, countries not from Europe, but from other countries. And there's definitely an ethnic component to that. And
At the same time, what's happening is that these economic policies are leading to a rise in inflation, a fall in the new jobs created, and a rise in unemployment. So even if you do manage to land in the U.S., and frankly, you may have an existing visa, but new visas have got prohibitive prices. So the point is that it's difficult for you to find a job under these circumstances. On the other hand, the previous guest also indicated many European countries are opening the door to Indians, and it's not just the English-speaking world. I mean, Canada, UK, Australia, although they are welcome. I mean, in Australia definitely, but Germany, for example, Germany higher education is free, scholarships are generous, and they want Indian students. And frankly, now the Germans are open to the idea of Indians who not only working there, but becoming German citizens. Frankly, even a country as insular as the Japanese are now welcoming Indians for simple reason that Indians abide by the order. They are the ethnic group least likely to get into offenses with the law. They are the ethnic group most likely to contribute a lot to the exchequer through higher incomes and therefore higher taxes. So Indians have become a desirable a group of immigrants, and except for the United States, they are becoming more and more welcome. And I mentioned about Germany, the other countries as well, but now realize the potential of Indian immigrant students, and they're also welcoming them. I'm not sure about education, because in Japan, for example, very few people in our country learn Japanese, although I think more emphasis should be placed on the study of languages in India, especially European languages, so that opportunities are there. But the fact of the matter is that as far as working is concerned, even the Japanese are welcoming Indians, because they know, maybe at the present level, when they come in, the skills are not so high. But in 6 months' time of on-the-job training, they become very, very good indeed, better than people from any other country. Except, of course, from the Japanese point of view, the Japanese themselves, they regard them to be special. But barring that, Indians are definitely on top in terms of they're quick learners, and they contribute to the taxation, and most importantly, they are very good in observing law and order. Thank you.
I appreciate all my guests for joining me to discuss this very important story. And viewers, now we're going to give you a very important inside view of this particular important development that has happened. Can I have the first plate, please? So now we have Indian students in the US, and of course US bound students, the percentage. So of course in 2023 we had it at a 54%, in 2024 at a 26%, and viewers at a in 2025 at a 20%. So this is a sharp decline that you're seeing. Of course, in the second plate, we have the change in destination preference. In 2023, UK was at a 16% viewers, and in 2025, UK was at a 39%. Germany in 2023 was at a 4%, and in 2025, it was at a 9%. Ireland was at a 3%, and 2025, it was at a 7.6%. Australia at a 7% in 2023, as you can see there, and in 2025, viewers, it was at a 7%. Canada at an 11%, and in 2025, of course, we have it at a 2.3%. So that was, of course, viewers, to give you an inside view of how the scenario has changed over the years. And of course, now Europe, as we're saying, is a preferred destination for education.